All right, man. Introduce yourself.
Black Jesus from Ottawa, Canada. Ottawa's capital city. I rep Insomniac Gang. That's my crew.
Okay, so you were in the news recently. There was a video that started to go viral with you and Slim Jesus. So before we get into that whole situation, were you familiar with Slim Jesus before the show?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm familiar with you. I'm familiar with hip hop. I'm very familiar.
Okay. So what were your initial thoughts about Slim Jesus when you first saw the video and our interview and everything else like that?
Well, first off, I hate drill. I hate whack trap music. There's good trap music out there, and I think the fact that drill has become its own genre is just a sad state of affairs for hip hop. But it is what it is. But at the same time, what I do for a living is I'm a social media and digital marketing specialist. So when I watched the video and I saw how quickly it blew up, it was interesting to me, basically how simple it was. Just to get some white kid to rap drill, have some fake guns. It cost him nothing to do, and he blew up overnight. So I basically wanted to capitalize on that by applying the same formula.
Okay. So that night in the club, were you actually DJing in the club, or you were just there as a,
Well, okay. So the night of, I told the owner of the club, the promoter, that I was coming by to support the locals. I performed, DJ'd, and promoted several shows there at the venue before. So I was able to get in free along with a couple friends. I showed up early with my cameraman and spoke to all the openers. A bunch of the openers didn't have their own DJ, so throughout the show, I was just the designated DJ because, I just, needed something to do while I was chilling there. And then nearing the end of the openers, the club owner comes to me, calls me over, and asks me if I could do him a favor by playing the beats for some Jesus' set. And I was surprised he didn't have his own DJ, but I accepted because I knew that it would make my plan, it would make executing my plan even easier. And then Slim showed up with his songs on a USB, and I actually had to play them through the owner's laptop in iTunes. It was just the wackest thing I'd ever witnessed. People paid $15 expecting an hour-long set or at least 45 minutes, and not only did he show up with no DJ, his set was less than 20 minutes long, consisted of Drill Time, Buck Buck, She Just Wanna, Faneto, and Drill Time again. And not only is Faneto not even his song, it's a Chief Keef song, but he repeated the last song and just gave literally the worst performance of the night, worse than any of the openers. So I waited halfway through the second playing of Drill Time, so I let him do the whole set up until the second playing of Drill Time. And then I grabbed the flashlight that I had stashed under the table, turned off the music, snatched the mic, put the flashlight in his face, and yelled, "Support real hip hop." And then I left, and then that's pretty much it.
Okay. So, I watched the video, and you were on stage for about 10 seconds or so on the side, and then you kind of sort of walked up, and then you sort of muscled the mic away from him. And then,
yeah, I was on stage the whole time. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened after you said what you said?
Basically, I left. I grabbed my stuff, walked right off. There was only one security guard on stage and only two in the building the whole time. So no one pushed me out. I wasn't forced. I literally just walked out because that was the plan. I mean, I wasn't gonna stay in a room full of drunk, young, and ignorant Slim Jesus fans where I clearly upset them. I wasn't going to stay. I wasn't there to fight. I was there to snatch the mic and go home. So when I got home, I opened up the list that I had made earlier that week of every single website that had written an article on Slim Jesus. The list included the names of the authors and their contact information that included Complex, World Star, Noisy, VH1, and Vlad TV, of course. And like everyone that I did contact ended up writing a story on it. Meanwhile, my cameraman put the footage from that night together, and while it was rendering, I got the emails ready, and then as soon as it was done, I emailed it to 36 different websites, including the ones I just mentioned, and it went viral. It was all very carefully planned.
Okay. So Slim Jesus ended up doing a response video. You saw it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I saw his response video holding money, making it seem like he was rolling in cash or something. Let me just dispel something for everyone, because I've actually met him in person. I know you have too. But he showed up with one friend, his size and his age, and his manager. So 2 people. That's it. And before you start believing his lies that he didn't come with goons because he couldn't get across the border, that's not why. It's because he wasn't making enough money to bring them. Let me break it down for you. The venue holds 400 people, and at the height of the night, there were barely 80. And you could, I doubt that you're going to, but you can check with the staff to verify that number. But there's barely 80, and maybe 60 of them who actually paid. But before I went back on stage to play the beats for the last 2 openers, I was surprised to learn from the club owner himself that he had actually broken even with only 80 people in the building. With tickets at $15 each and only 60 to 80 people there, that means the owner grossed $900 to $1,200 Canadian max. That means Slim Jesus' fee had to be less than that. So now you minus 15% for his manager, travel, hotel, food. That means Slim Jesus made less than $500 that night. There's no way he had enough to bring goons or whatever. And he was holding some money. Obviously the money he had in the video was probably from before, because he wasn't paid in American money anyways. But he's not rolling in cash. The most money he's made is probably from YouTube money. It's not from doing shows. Because there's 80 people in the building at the height. And like I said, I was only there to snatch the mic. I did what I came for. I left. I wasn't kicked out. I wasn't pushed. I walked out on my own accord as soon as the job was done, and that's all there is.
Okay. So how tall are you?
I'm 6'1.5".
How much do you weigh, roughly?
185.
Okay. Pretty big guy in general. I've met Slim Jesus. Slim Jesus is not a very big guy.
Exactly. He's not a big dude. And that's the thing. When the Slim Jesus came out, the internet and the hip hop community almost universally hated him. Some people laughed at him, and a ridiculously small minority of the young and ignorant people actually liked him. But if you read the comments on his videos, articles about him, there's thousands of people saying, "Oh man, I would smack this dude up, I'll beat him, I'll fucking kill him, whatever." But how many of these people would actually do that in real life? Who knows? I don't know. But all I know is that I met him in real life, and I wasn't gonna do any of that. I'm not out here trying to catch charges for beating up kids. I stood up for hip hop, I stood up for Ottawa, I stood up for Canada, and I did a symbolic gesture by snatching the mic out of his hands. It's he's not an artist. He does not respect the culture. He's a disgrace to real artists who put time, money, blood, sweat, and tears into their craft, care about fans. Any artist who cares about the fans wouldn't put a 20-minute set and perform someone else's track and just it was just, man, even if I hadn't planned it, he deserved to get the mic snatched. It was just disgraceful.
Well, certain people are going to look at this situation and say, okay, here's this dude who's obviously a lot bigger than Slim Jesus. Slim Jesus went on video multiple times and said that he wasn't a tough guy. He wasn't about that life. And they're going to look at you and say, okay, you kind of bullied the situation. Because let's just say Slim Jesus was 300 pounds and all muscle. Would you have done the same thing?
Absolutely. It's not about it has nothing to do with the size 5. It has to do with him as a person and what he represents. And it's he's just not, it's nothing to do with bullying or whatever. It's about me, standing up for hip hop. It's standing up for my city. Cause when you think of Ottawa, you're from the U.S., you probably don't know much about Ottawa. Ottawa is arguably the most politically correct city in the world. Not only are we the capital of the nation known for being passive and polite, we're like extremely diverse, giving culture, and just like we give everybody a voice. But the problem with that is that it's like so overwhelmingly diverse, it causes division, and everyone identifies as their own labels, and like there's very little unity, and just the idea that like his very first stop would be in such a place where you would never expect this to happen. And then it did happen, like on his very first stop in his very first tour. It just makes a statement that like no matter where in the world, like hip hop is like against what he is. And like it's not about bullying. It's not like it has nothing to do with size. It's absolutely nothing to do with size. It has to do with who he is and what he represents.
All right, well, it is what it is at this point. I appreciate you calling in.
I'm not the back down type though, you know what I'm saying? Like, he started talking this shit. I was on an aisle hook. He like, yo, you disrespecting Fetty. I'm like, so? One of them niggas smacked me with the gun from the back.
The challenges we faced from Houston, from Texas in hip hop, man, I ain't worried about Slim G's, Iggy's, Azaleas, man, I ain't worried about none of that, man. We got our own world going on of things that's way more crucial to us and to our Texas hip hop culture